You have to have very, very thick skin. I could see how it could unnerve a lot of people. You have to have a very stable life outside the show. If you live and die by the comments, you're not going to survive it.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to Shut Up, Tell Me More. I'm so excited for my guest today. She is a powerhouse entrepreneur. She is the owner and founder of lifestyle brand, the MacBeth Collection. She has written a memoir titled Caviar, Dreams, Tuna Fish Budget. It is so good. And by the way, it is on Audible, so you don't have to read it if you don't want to. You can listen to her voice it. Most recently, along with her partner, Lexi, she introduced Soiree, a line of 4 delicious mocktails, which I have right in front of me. She's taken the beverage industry by storm, and you most likely know her as the star of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. My girl, Margaret Josephs, is on the podcast today. I could not be more excited. She is such a doll, and this is a great interview. You're going to learn so much about Margaret as the person that she is, not just the housewife. So if you are not a Housewives fan, keep listening because this is an interview for everyone. I cannot wait for you to hear it. And without further ado, here's my interview with Margaret Josephs. Margaret Josephs, hello. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Pam. I'm so excited to be here. We haven't been together in a while.
No, over a year ago, I interviewed you at one of our events on stage, and it was amazing. You guys, I have to say, Margaret, you are the most gracious, kind, wonderful person. You came into the room and you were friends with everyone. Like, it wasn't just like, hi. It was, hi, how are you? As if you knew every single guest there your whole life. So
Oh
thank
my
you so
God.
much.
You are so sweet. Thank you. And I'm so happy to see you again. I need like a little trip to visit you so I
Yes,
could be warm and
please.
get out of this Jersey weather.
Come to Florida. Well, speaking of Jersey, I do want to get into it. I know that everyone asks
Okay.
you, is Jersey coming back? Is Jersey coming back? I know you don't know, so I'm not going to ask you. But
Yes.
how has this break been for you?
It's actually been very nice. I talk to the people I want to speak to. A lot of the ladies are my friends, and the people I don't want to see, I don't have to. So it's actually very pleasant. It's sad not to be, filming the show because it has become a part of my life, not my whole life, but it's a part of my life. I've done it for over 7 years. And I've been doing that, but it's been fine. I'm super busy and I get to see the girls. Tomorrow night I'm going to dinner with Melissa and Rachel. I'll see Jen Fessler tomorrow. Dolores is away, so I get to see the people I love.
I love that. When you guys are out in public, are people taking pictures? Is it like a
Yes.
whole, oh my
Yes, yes,
gosh.
yes. In my town, everybody knows me. I've been here forever, so that doesn't happen here. But people are still very, very into the show.
Do you ever run into anyone that's like, that you're not friends with from your cast?
I have run into Jennifer Aiden, believe it or not, the Woodbury Common outlets, at the Gucci outlet, and cordial to each other. We were cordial. I don't have any venom towards her. I felt, yeah, I have no venom towards Jennifer
Well, I
Aiden.
feel like
She's done some things that are not great, and it's unfortunate.
she's done some things that are not great, to say the least, to say the
To say
very
the least,
least.
to say
Yes.
the least. I wish, for herself, I'm not sure what she was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with everything. But I want to talk about going over, you were on it for 7 seasons. That is
Yes.
incredible. Is there anything that you are upset about the way it was presented to the audience?
Not really. I just feel like, listen, could they have shown more things that were positive in my life? Yes, things have gotten cut out. Um, I had shown that, my oldest stepson was engaged and going to get married. That whole thing didn't get shown. And, things I would have liked, more about my business, just some other aspects of my life I would have liked to see on the season, but it just didn't happen. But otherwise, it was fine. Sometimes I felt like I looked a little bitchier than I am, but it's okay.
No, you are not bitchy. You are very witty and smart.
Yes.
Before you go into a scene or a party, do you like think about who am I going to be with? What do I have to say to them? Or is it all just off the cuff?
It's usually off the cuff unless I'm really irritated with someone. And then I'm just like, if they're going to say this, I'm going to be really mad. I think, people are going to be on the attack. And I'm like, if I'm going to argue with this one, I'm going to have to like lay it on the line. Sometimes I think it's not worth it. And sometimes I think it is. So I'll think about that, but I don't really, it's kind of off the cuff of what's going to come to my head because I'm not sure what that person's going to say.
You're so witty and so quick. It's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Like the
But
Jackie text, for example. Did you have that just sitting in your phone?
no,
Like,
no, 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 no. I had to scroll back. I had to scroll back. It was just like 2.5, 3 weeks before then. But when I saw her talking to Dolores, and I was like, you are so full of shit.
mhm.
Basically, like, don't act like you love Dolores. Don't act like you guys are good friends. She's my good friend. And I was like, all right, you want to play this game, act like Miss All Innocent? I'll stick it right up your ass.
The cutest though was Joe, like taking the
I
phone.
know.
I mean, like, look at the phone. Look at the phone.
I
It
know,
was
because I was
so
like, Joe, I couldn't get Dolores's attention. I'm like, go get Dolores's attention. So he did it. Yeah, which was funny. We're a great team.
oh
Joe and
my
I.
gosh, it's so sweet. The first time he was on camera, did you coach him? Like, how did he react when he's like, I'm going to be on the show?
No, he's fine. Joe's a regular guy. Sometimes I'm like, Joe, I was like, pull yourself together. You are on TV. Trim your ear hairs. Um, but he's just regularly himself. He has like a goofbally type personality, so he was made for TV, truthfully, because he's authentically himself.
Well, you were also made for TV. You're
Oh,
just incredible. I have to ask you about the last episode. Would you even call it a reunion or was it just a season finale?
it was an extra season finale, a watch party. I wish it was different. I had a lot to say to some of those other people in the other room. Um, because that was the first time I was watching the season finale and what was said. I would have loved to confront some of the other people. I would have loved it.
Yeah. Who would you have confronted?
Obviously, Teresa,
Yeah.
and and how she even has the balls to defend her husband was very disgraceful. The things they said that I should suffer, my son should suffer, those type of things. Even Andy Cohen said that was the worst thing he had seen and heard in the history of our show. When you say things like that, that is just so disgusting. Who says that they want someone's child to suffer?
Yes. And it feels like it goes so much deeper than the show's supposed to.
Yes.
As much as you put yourself out there and you are so honest, like I think you went into it and tell me if I'm wrong, but you went into this role as your housewife being like, this is everything that's happened in my life. Here I am and take it or leave it. Like I feel like you did not have any skeletons in your closet. Would you agree?
Well, no, I feel like if you're going on Housewives, your skeletons are going to come out. So you just might as well lay it on the line because someone's going to look it up. Someone's going to dig it up. You cannot pretend to be something you're not. We all have faults. We're all human. Things have happened in everyone's past. It's the way you move it forward. And I felt like, yeah, I just was coming on. I was a grown woman. I was 49 when I got on the show already. Yes, I just put it out there and I felt like I'm going to be completely honest and be who I am. And I think that's all you could expect from people to come on the show. Unfortunately, people come on with airs, pretending to be something they're not, pretending to be something they think the audience wants to see, which isn't the case.
So, being that you are so good at being a housewife, have you ever called anyone and given them advice like on other franchises? Have they ever called you?
Yes, I've had people ask me like, I'm going to go on the show. What do you think? I mean, it's even been on our franchise little. I just say it from the heart, and I have spoken to other people on other franchises, and I've said just be authentically yourself. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, for sure. And we could tell. I mean, the viewers can definitely tell if it's not authentic.
And
So,
I say if you have any skeletons, just get it out there and get ahead of it.
yes, yes. And you have always been so good at, did that like come from your childhood? I feel like you've always just been, having read your book, you've been so open and so honest about everything that has gone on in your life.
Yeah, I think, my family would like to say I'm TMI, Marge, and I don't think they love it. They're like, you don't have to say everything to everyone. I'm like, oh, yeah, 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 I guess you're right. I sometimes should be a little more guarded, but I also feel like it lets down their guard. It makes you more relatable, more vulnerable. And I think then other people could feel more comfortable in their skin around you.
And that is why it creates such amazing TV. I want to ask you about Marge Sr. We love seeing her on camera. She is
Yes.
just the best. You have been very open and honest about your relationship. What happens when the cameras are down and do you ever talk about what was discussed?
Yeah, of course. I mean, sometimes she's like, oh, Margaret, da, da, da. But she doesn't even get upset because you know what? Mother-daughter relationships have a history of being tumultuous, amazing. They're the deepest bond you can have. But with the deepest bond you can have comes other things, right? Mother-daughter relationships are not easy, but they're the most amazing relationship you can have. And I think we've shown that. We grew up together. We're 20 years apart. We are extremely close. Do we still fight all the time? Absolutely. But we talk on the phone 5 times a day. Where she lives down the street from me. We spend an enormous amount of time together. But with that much familiarity, breeds contempt sometimes. So of course we still fight, but we're like the best of friends.
I love the normalcy of it. When you are fighting with a castmate or something is going on and she's watching it and seeing it, do you have to like hold her back ever?
Yes. Oh, she is a rage. I'm afraid she's going to say something on social media, which she has said comments before, but she knows. I mean, she's held her, she has some decorum. I'm like, Ma, don't get into this. Don't get in the weeds and don't get in the mud.
Jersey, I feel like, is very different from other franchises in that there's so much drama that goes on when cameras are down. How do you deal with that? Do you just want to like pick up the phone and say like, what the fuck did you just say? Or do you
Oh,
wait till you're filming?
I normally wait till I'm filming, but I have done nasty group text messages. I put the entire cast on a text and said hostile things. I have. I just said, I don't need your dirty laundry off camera. I have to deal with it on camera.
Yeah.
I've done things like that. I've done, because I'm not going to hide or do something like that. Yeah, I lay it all out there. I don't pretend, but I save certain things for camera.
Yeah. And then behind the scenes, do you have to bring it up again as if it's fresh news so that it gets on camera?
I save most things for camera. I mean, listen, there's certain things I'm going to be, for example, I cannot stand Jackie Goldschneider. I could care less about her now. She's shown her true colors. But there's certain things she confided in me that I would never bring up on camera, familial things that I would just never say. And though she's like, Margaret betrayed me so much, bullshit. I have not betrayed her so much. It's a big deal. I showed a screenshot about Dolores. I revealed what she was really doing with the Louis Teresa stuff. But that was all her fake friendships, right? This is her real life stuff I've never revealed.
So was that the betrayal that she was talking about? Because I remember when before the most recent season came out, she was interviewed and she said, there's a betrayal that you're going to see. And I feel like I spent the whole entire season being like, what was it? And then I didn't.
Yeah, the betrayal. Yeah, the betrayal was I showed the screenshot.
Okay, so
If that's the betrayal where you have no relationship with Dolores, you've talked negatively about her the entire time you've known her, where I have a real bond with Dolores, and you did that, and then you were pretending to be her friend and talk shit about me, and I showed a screenshot. If that's such a betrayal. No, a betrayal would be of like the intimate moments that we've discussed. The truth is, the betrayal was of what she did to me. She let me hang for her behavior. I don't care what she did with Teresa and Louis. I don't care that she met with the exes way before the guy came on the show, that she leaked information about him. I don't care. She hated them. Not a big deal. But don't let it come across that I did these things, that I did that, and act like, oh, yes, she probably did, da, 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 when meanwhile you did all these deviant behaviors and then cuddle up to the people you did it to.
absolutely. When you're sitting across that table and that information comes out, information that you've known, I feel like you were so
I only knew it
controlled.
like a week and a half before that finale.
It's amazing though. How did you not just walk in that room and be like, by the way, this is going to come out? Like, you were very good about it. Like you held your
Yeah. Because
tongue.
I knew it was going to be a big moment and I couldn't wait. And that I liked watching her squirm. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna.
When you guys did film that last episode, by the way, were you in Rails at the same time?
No, well, that last episode, that like watch party, we weren't at the same time on different floors.
Okay. Oh, you were there? Because I was like, what if they run into the bathroom? Like, there's many
No,
knives at
we were
this
even going
steakhouse.
to different bathrooms.
Okay, so they had
We
it.
were on different floors. And then, yeah, because Dolores had come in our room at one point.
Oh, right. So when did you find out that that's it? Like, we're not going to do a real reunion. This is it.
When I kept saying, when are you sending us our dresses? And they're like, oh, we're going to send you soon. What do because they would send us what the theme was and everything else. They weren't sending us the theme. And then all of a sudden, I was like, it's getting way too close to when we should be filming reunion. And we had no direction for what we were filming. I was like, something's going on here.
It's so hard. It doesn't feel final. Like, how do you cope with that there's still
I
so
was
much on the
livid.
table?
I was livid because I was like, I have a lot to say.
Yeah, for sure. What is a traditional reunion? What is the prep like?
It's like prepping for the I call it the Super Bowl of the Housewives. It's just like you have to rewatch every episode. Usually all the episodes haven't aired. So like the last 4 or 5 episodes, you see the rough cuts, you watch them. So you know what everyone said about you and you're preparing what you're thinking and discussing the relationships and going into it. I think a lot of reunion what the network would like, what Andy would like is a lot of conflict resolution. And I think the reason they didn't have a reunion because there wasn't going to be a conflict resolution. There was not a lot of resolution. I also feel resolution is saying your piece and moving forward is saying, I also don't have a relationship with this person. And there is some finality. But I think they thought there was finality there already. Like, okay, a lot of these people can't move forward at all. There's no forward movement.
Yeah.
We don't need to see any more.
Yeah. You are someone who is so good at resolution. I mean, the fact that you are friendly with Danielle Staub after everything that's happened, I mean, I just feel like you're so.
I don't know if I'm friendly with her, but I have no ill will towards her. I'm sure she despised me. You know what? That was one person, even though she pulled my hair, obviously there was so much emotion there between us that she had such upset towards me that she could do that. If you really don't care about someone and you have so much hate for them, it's because you had such a relationship with them, right? So, she really did something awful. We can never, but I don't have ill will towards her.
Yeah, it feels like, I mean, I'll never forget that scene, but it feels like it was.
Well, either will I.
Yeah, you're like, neither will my neck. But yes. It feels like it was so long ago. If you could go back and talk to it was season 8 that you first came on, right?
Yes.
If you could go back and talk to season 8, Marge, what would you tell her? What advice would you give her?
The advice I would give her is, I think, get a facelift before you go on TV. No, I think I would say, no, I would just say is that it's real. That you're dealing with some people who are not too stable. Just be careful of that it's protect yourself. And that's really it. I think there was no other advice to really give myself. I think I was authentic to who I was. The true colors came out about the people, who they were, the soggy flickers of the world. I think everybody saw who she is. And, that people will go to no ends to be famous. And they will stoop to any level. I wish I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
They will lie, they will cheat, they will steal. We've seen that, and they will make up stories. And, I'm not someone who's going to lie about something on television.
Yeah, it's a hard job to be a part of, I'm sure. Do you think, in addition to them lying, do you think that any of your castmates have changed over the course of the run of the show?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think some for the better and some for the worse.
Yeah. Do you think
a lot of them for the worse?
Does reality TV just change everyone, do you think?
I think everybody, including myself. I think I'm still the same person. I'm still like your, regular Marge. I was always a little bit delusional, you know what I mean? Like over the top.
It's the self-awareness for me. I love it.
I always think, as a little, like even, before I got into, I was on TV and I was just like, a little cartoon character-ish. I think I'm not even, I've become a little more cynical because I've seen the ugly side of people, which I didn't want to see. I always gave people more chances. So I've become a little more cynical, which is sad to me. But otherwise, I'm still the same person. I really am. I'm not like, a crazy lunatic who thinks she's so famous and things like that. I'm not like that. No. I think some people think they're like, Academy Award winners. They think I'm like, no, I'm not, nothing like that.
Well, having met you, I can attest to that. You are super down to earth, so kind, and just open to everyone.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful. You mentioned your beautiful face work. You look absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I just have tinted moisturizer today and, a little lipstick.
And you look stunning. You guys, you have to see this visual, but you have always been so open about it. Do you feel this pressure being on TV, like always seeing yourself, that you have to look perfect all the time?
I think I feel the pressure to look the best I can look. I don't think I have to look perfect. Otherwise, I would have got a tummy tuck and everything else, but I didn't do that. But I think there is pressure to look the best version of yourself. You're seeing yourself in high definition. Does no one any favors. I don't care who you are. I mean, you could see your pores. You could see if you have a mustache hair. So yeah, I think there's pressure. I think um, I'm not an insecure person. I'll say that. I just always want to look, my best. But I go on camera without makeup on.
I love it. Speaking of all that takes to be a housewife, it's a huge undertaking. You do have to pay for hair, makeup, glam, parties, wardrobe, all the things. What would you
Yes.
say is really the cost to be a housewife for a season?
You don't make any money your first season and barely a penny the second.
Yeah, because you
Is,
end up
with
spending
your
it.
salary, you wind up spending more your first year and you probably break even your second year. Just because, they don't pay for your glam only on confessional days, right?
Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay.
Only on confessional days. So it's like if you're getting your glam done, which makes sense. You're paying for your makeup. You're expected to be able to maintain your lifestyle, right? Um, and you're going on camera, so you want to get your hair and makeup done and those certain things. But I also wanted to look like I regularly look. So some days I'm not getting my hair and makeup done, but if there's an event or there's whatever it is, you want your wardrobe. You don't want to repeat things on camera, so you're spending money on clothes and all those things. So you definitely are spending a lot, a lot. Like in real life, do you repeat outfits? Yeah, of course, right?
Yep,
But if you're going on camera, you're not wearing the thing from season to season to season.
that's true.
Or like in the same year, you just don't do it.
Yeah, because they'll pick up on it for sure, and then you'll be
Yes.
at the top of every blog. Do you read comments that are written about you?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. All the time. All the
What's
time. I actually find them extremely entertaining.
yes.
I love a good banter. I love the hostility. I think it's kind of funny. I sometimes I write back, sometimes I don't. I get beautiful, nice comments, and I get the nasty ones, and I even think the nasty ones are kind of funny.
I love that. I love that about you so much. I'm sure there are like when so and so from this random state, but what is that like when the world is weighing in on your life and your life choices?
Um, you have to have very, very thick skin. I could see how it could unnerve a lot of people. You have to have a very stable life outside the show. If you live and die by the comments, you're not going to survive it. You're not. I don't live and die by the comments. I think it's kind of entertaining. I do find it entertaining.
Do you remember when you first started seeing the comments? Were you like, oh my goodness?
Yeah, my first year was very, very rough. I had a lot of bots. I had a lot of attacks. I had the people of like, the Siggies of the world, working with people and the attacks. And she worked with certain accounts, and the social media was very ugly and crazy. And,
So
the first year was a little rough, like, because I wasn't used to it, but, it died down.
So, because I feel like I study reality TV and
Yes.
housewives, I know what the bots are. But for those who are listening and don't know about these attacks that literally are not real people, can you explain it?
Okay, bots are accounts, fake accounts that are paid. It's a paid service or a paid or paid that people will pay accounts to attack that are fake, that will go and say nasty things and do negative things to a person. So if there's paid bots to attack me, there's a service that you could do it for likes or whatever it is. And you can also have it do very mean things. And there's a lot of paid bots. And if your nemesises on the show don't like you, a lot of them will engage in that negative behavior and work with certain bloggers and have them, be work with them and pay them to do bad press, uh, do ruin your photos, like take photos of you and like alter them and make you look ugly and constantly comment and try and put out bad articles about you. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
How much do you think that's affected the quality of housewives across the board? Because it feels
I
like,
think it's really affected the quality of Housewives. I think it's brought down the franchises, the negative engagement of the bots of certain accounts. That's not what Housewives is about. It's here for entertainment purposes, and that people take it so seriously to go to that level. I mean, we're all people, right? It's here for entertainment. And everyone's like, well, you guys put yourself out there. Yeah, not to like, it's freedom of speech. That's what some of the people who write to me tell me. I'm like, yeah, freedom of speech is, about the government, about, to go out there, to be able to defend yourself, to speak, to not be arrested when someone does, does something
Mhm.
that you could speak out against the government. Not, I mean, it's borderlines on hate crimes. That's how bad people get sometimes.
Yeah, and there's totally a boundary. It's so hard.
There is a boundary, and to have such strong emotions about people you really don't know that you just see on television is a little nuts. But we just go with it.
I always think like
It's ruined Housewives a little bit. Meaning to the fact is it's ruined the um, fun of it, and the
yeah.
negative fandom, especially on Jersey, has really hurt it
You guys get hit so hard. It's unbelievable.
harder than the other franchises.
100%. I remember the rule used to be you don't go after kids. Then that seemed to be gone. Then it was you don't go after the husbands. Then that seemed to be gone. I mean, is everything just kind of on the table now in Jersey?
Everything's not. Well, I mean, I feel like the husbands are on the show.
Yes.
They're in the mess. They're in the mess, right? It's like not go after the husbands, but it's like if they're in the drama, they're in the drama. It's like whatever it is. But the kids for sure
Do
don't
you
go.
think if the kids are on the show, that opens them up to whatever may come?
It depends what kids we're talking about. You don't talk about little kids. You don't talk
Yep.
about, you know what I'm saying? You don't talk about the kids. I would never talk about someone's children. I'm not going to argue with anybody's children either, though, some of the children feel it's okay to argue, say disrespectful things. I would never argue with someone's child.
Yeah. But I do want to talk about your role as a mother because that is
Yes.
something that is not talked about enough. But before we go there, what is your absolute favorite part of being a housewife?
The favorite part of being a housewife, I've experienced so many great things on this platform that in real life, if I was not a housewife, I wouldn't get to do it. You get to go to beautiful events, beautiful charity events. Your voice does make a difference, that you can ignite beautiful things. And that's been great. I did a beautiful charity event, the Hospital Heroes, where my friend Jeff Lipton, who's head of pediatric oncology, I got to bring awareness to his hospital and pediatric cancer. You know what it is? So there's a lot of feel good moments that have been brought to light in the world. I got to go on the World Pride float. Just so many amazing things. Like my mother's 75th birthday will be memorialized forever on television, on video. It's just amazing that she got to celebrate that on TV with her friends and everything else. And there's things that, we kept private there, that like all these private video messages that, were there that night. So it was really like a spectacular, there's so many spectacular things that I've been open to, and, meeting wonderful, wonderful people, the fans and friends of the show who love the show so much, and I get to hear their stories. So there's just so many great things and so many great people that have come out of it. So it's just really a nice experience.
Yeah, well, I will tell you, I think about that hospital charity all the time. I remember seeing like the scrubs that the kids were wearing dressed as
Yeah, the
superheroes.
gowns, and that's I helped with that company. That was my friend's company called Brave Gowns, and we brought awareness to that. And that's a 501(c), and it was so great. But also Jeff Lipton, my friend, who's so unbelievable, and there's a lot of feel good moments.
Yes. And you also should be thanked because I have to tell you, Housewives brings this comfort to me, particularly you. When I see you on camera,
Oh,
it's like
thank
I
you.
feel like I'm watching a friend. So I think that you deserve to be thanked for that. And you've put so much on the line.
Oh, I'm so grateful. Thank you, Pam. That
It's
makes me
so
so good.
true. It's so true.
Thank
So
you.
I do want to talk about Margaret the mother because you have so many children. You are an amazing mom, and that was not something that we saw on the show. Can you
No,
tell
and
me?
yeah, you'll never see that in the public eye for sure. Between Joe and myself, we have 6 kids.
It's amazing. And you also have a child with Jan. So I don't think that's
That's one
well
of the
known
6. Yeah.
either.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah. I had 3 stepkids, but I raised them. And then we have one biological son together, Jan and I. And then Joe has 2 children. We have a lot of kids. I mean, they're all much older because Jan was 20 years older than me. So, and I squeaked one out very quickly when we got married. Uh, and yeah, and of course, my son always lived with me. He was away at college. Of course, we're very close. He hates the show,
Hmm.
understandably so.
Very understandable. Yes.
His part, thank God he doesn't have social media. But he was someone who was very private, and someone tried to drag him into the public eye, and it was not me. We're not going to even talk about who that was. Which I think people who watch the show know who that was. And yeah, my kids are all close. And listen, when I got on the show, I was very transparent. Two of my kids were not speaking to me because I had left their father.
Hmm.
Um, but that has since changed. My other son who wasn't speaking to me, we're extremely, close again, and we've really healed. Unfortunately, my daughter not speaking still. But I'm just grateful, everybody else is great. And my kids are all close. And my oldest stepson, who finally got married at the age of 49, we had a big wedding in September, which was fantastic. I walked him down the aisle with his, birth mother. I say his birth mother because I'm much closer with him
Yep.
than she is. I did the first dance with him. So he got married then. So we're all very close. Joe's kids were extremely, close with. They're both, his daughter's an astrophysicist. His son's getting his uh, PhD in physics. So all our kids were all very, very close with, but we keep that very private.
Yes. Is it a very hard balance? Because when your motherhood is challenged and you are trying to keep it I mean, even in your book, your son has an alias. You don't use his
Yeah,
real name.
all my kids except one had an alias.
Yeah. So when someone questions your motherhood and you're like, no, there's actually all these other things, that had to be so hard for you.
That is hard, and people think they know better, and it is upsetting. And like I've even said it, the father of my kids died. Jan died. My ex-husband died. I was devastated. I had a huge shiva here, and people are like, "You were banned from the funeral." I was like, "What kind of sick people are these?" You know what I mean? You weren't invited. First of all, you're not invited to a funeral. There's no invitations. I never saw a formal invitation. And number one, I was with him, at the hospital. Was myself and his girlfriend. She was with him in the ambulance. I got to the hospital right when he died. It was only me and his girlfriend there. I was the one who told my kids. I was right there, so when people say these crazy things, they make up these stories. It's pretty sick.
And it's also hard because it goes against the proof of what we saw. We saw you guys at the kitchen table talking to one another. We saw how your
And
relationship
I
was so
would tell
beautiful.
Jan, just, and Jan would, he got a big kick out of the show, and we were extremely close.
Yes, I'm sure he was like, this is perfect for Margaret. This is exactly what she should be doing.
Yes, exactly. And he got a big kick out of it, and he would tell me all the gossip, and he would read stuff, and it was very, very funny. And him dying was very sudden. He wasn't sick, and that was probably the biggest tragedy I've had in my life, was losing him, because even though we weren't a great couple, we were always a great family, and we were great friends. He was one of my best friends in the world. He was the father of my son. We'd eat dinner together all the time. Joe was fine with it. Joe knew there was no romantic connection anymore. We were just very bonded. I mean, I grew up with him. So losing him and watching my son lose his, my son was young, 26 when his father died. Losing him, it was very, very tragic.
I appreciate you sharing that because I can only imagine. And again, we saw how close you guys were and how you really mended that relationship
Yes,
so
and I
beautifully.
think the world, because I did keep private, doesn't realize how tragic it was. And I think people don't realize that it doesn't matter that you're divorced or whatever it is. That doesn't mean you don't love the person. I mean, it's someone you're married to for 20 years and, share your kids and your life with, and literally my entire youth.
Yes.
It's a big part of my life.
100%. And I hope they read your book because that really, I learned so much about you and you voice it. So thank you for that because to take the time to read is very hard as a mom. So you voice it, hearing your voice. Yeah. Hearing your story was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
One of the things that's talked about in your book is your business. I don't think people realize that you are this incredible entrepreneur. You started the MacBeth Collection over 25 years ago.
Yes.
And you brought it from like 0 to 100. How many stores are you in now?
Well, now we're only really in mass stores. We're in Walmart, we're in Burlington, we're in the Rosses, we're in the TJ Maxx's, we're in stores like that. So I'd say, the Five Below. We really went into the mass. So we're in thousands of stores, but fewer retailers. Years ago, when we were on the high end, retail has changed very, very much. We're in TK, we're in overseas, we're in TK Maxx, which is also in England. So MacBeth Collection / Candy Couture, my other label, is there also. But when I first started in business, we were in so many stores, but we were more high end. We were on the O list. I don't know, was it 9 times?
Oh my gosh.
We were a different kind of company. We were more high end. And then then I said we went licensing, and then we were more masstige, as I would say, mass brand that was more prestigious.
Okay, so Business 101 with Margaret Josephs. For those that don't know, what is licensing and what goes into that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize what licensing is. Licensing is once you develop a brand and a look and a style, it's just like I could not make all the different products. We had a beautiful home line. That's what I was in, a home line. It was like home storage, and it was very print driven. As people know, I love color and print. People love to bust their chops about it.
Your style is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you so much. And then, you know, we don't wanted to do things that were affordable. So licensing is taking my name and going, and my brand and my styling, going to different companies that make different products for the mass, for like the Walmarts, the TJ Maxx's and things like that. And they use my label, and they do my design driven look, and I get paid on royalty. So for argument's sake, to make it very simple, Michael Jordan doesn't make Nike, but his name was on a pair of Nikes, and he gets, the Nike, and he gets paid on royalty. He gets a percentage of the sales. Same exact thing. Like I'm wearing these reading glasses. They're from my collection, Margaret Josephs. These are big, and like these were sold in TJ Maxx, in a 3-pack, and I get paid on royalty, but it's very much my style. Same thing. I have beauty brushes and things like that. I was always very into makeup and things growing up as a little girl. So I've always had a beauty line, beauty tool line. I have a big beauty tool line in Walmart for many, many years under Candy Couture. So it was, and I get paid on royalty. So if they're doing 10 million a year, I'm not getting $10 million a year. I'm getting a percentage of that. Someone else is making it, but I'm approving the styles. It looks very Margaret Josephs-ish, and I'm getting paid a percentage.
What?
And that's what licensing is. Just like Ralph Lauren does not make sunglasses. That's licensed. That's through a very large sunglass company. I think Luxottica makes sunglasses for Gucci, makes for Ralph Lauren, makes for everybody else, and they're all getting a percentage.
So now we have gone to the Margaret Josephs Business School. Why didn't we see more of this on the show?
Yeah, don't ask me. I don't know. I guess we should have.
Yes, it's a huge part of your life. It's huge. Because you were working, obviously, as a mom. What was that like, being a working mom, balancing it all? How'd you do it?
You can have it all, but not at the same time. I did make sure I never missed a school trip. I was at everything at my son's school when he was little. I made sure to take him to school every day, never on time because I'm not a morning person.
Amen to that. Yes. Same.
Every year he would say his goal in life was, we're going to try to get to school on time this year. That's what he would tell the neighbor. I would bribe the ladies in the offices. It was very funny.
Listen, it's not for everyone. Being on time is not for everyone, okay? Time is a social construct.
Yeah, exactly. I say time is a suggestion. That's my thing. Time is a suggestion.
Yes.
But I would travel a lot. I was always at trade shows. I was blessed enough to have full-time help that I could afford it. And I had, my husband, Jan, at the time, worked for himself. We had a family business, and he could be home and spend a lot of time with my son and everything else. The other kids were older, so it was not a big deal. They were at the house, they were in college, whatever it was. So we really ran it that way. And it wasn't easy. But when I was home, and I made sure. And, my son is very proud of me. He always says, now, you were such a hustler. You're amazing. You're this. And he has an unbelievable work ethic as well. But because I work for myself, when I wanted to take off, I could. But there was other times that I was away like 2 to 3 weeks at a time. And I'd come home for one day in between. So I was on trade show circuit. And that was hard. I was always, I'd come home crying and miserable and feeling sad about it. But then when I came home, I was home.
And look what it turned into. It's amazing. And
Yes.
you're still running this amazing empire.
Yes, yes. And listen, I took a very bad hit with it during COVID. A lot of my licenses went out of business. I've had lawsuits because of it. I've had highs, I've had lows. It's still here. Um, is it doing as great as it was before? No, absolutely not. Businesses change. We have tariffs now. It's like a lot of craziness is going on. But I started another company, Soiree, my mocktail line. I've invested in that because I don't drink alcohol. I'm trying to blow up another company. So there's a lot going on.
Yes, I want to talk about Soiree, but before we do that, I have to ask you about Lexi. You guys are family. I mean, you
Yes.
are together all the time. Do you ever disagree about business, and how do you get through that?
I'm going to be honest with you. We don't disagree a lot. I take Lexi very seriously. We've been together 17 years. Joe likes to say we're like one mind. I think it comes out of her mouth. She thinks it comes out of my mouth. It's rare we disagree. But I listen to her if we're not on the same page. And I think, we talk it out, but we really don't fight. We really, I can honestly say we don't argue. I mean, about certain people, I think she will say to me, you got to be careful. That one's a jerk or this or that. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm more, um, you know, easy. I take people in a little easier than she does. Then she's always right. So
You need that. You need that other voice to be like, wait, hold
yes,
on, hold on.
yes, yes,
Proceed
yes.
with caution.
Yeah, but we really don't argue a lot. We don't. I'm very, very blessed, and I love her, and I'm very protective over her, and she's helped me grow my businesses to a large scale, and now that's why I said we're going to partner together and grow something else together. So she has a beautiful business as well.
Oh, you guys are so in it for each other, and that's amazing and so rare. So,
Yes,
Soiree, I have it all over the studio today.
thank
I drink it right here.
great.
So good. How did the idea for Soiree come about?
Soiree came about because I don't drink alcohol.
Hmm.
And the funny thing is, a lot of people don't realize that on the show. I don't think we talk about it enough. I don't drink. And I'm on a show where, alcohol is, at the forefront of housewives. We have a
Yes.
lot of housewives that do drink. We've had housewives that have drinking issues. We've had housewives that have gone to jail for drinking.
Yep.
A few.
Yep.
Um, so I was like, you know what? I want to create something that people feel comfortable holding this drink. I'm sick of drinking iced tea and Coca-Cola. I don't have an issue with substances. I did grow up with my mother who did drink too much,
Mhm.
and I decided never to drink. So I was like, Lex, we got to create something that makes everybody feel part of the party, that tastes great, that tastes elevated, not a flavored seltzer, something that tastes like an experience, that's all natural, low in sugar, and is just fun. But people could use as a mixer as well for the people that do drink. I'm not judgy. I
Right.
just want to have a good time and everybody party together. So we came out with Soiree. It took us about 18 months in development. We did focus groups. We did all the flavors ourselves with the flavor house. We designed the packaging. We did everything together. It's self-funded. And you know what? Growing a business, a beverage business is not easy.
Hmm.
And we're doing it together. And I'd say the first two, we've been in business 2 years. It's been going well, but it's a little rough go. We're doing a lot of work now. We're going to add a coffee flavor. And I think now we're going to get to really the next level.
I'm so excited for the coffee flavor. First of all,
Thank you.
I started putting my iced coffee in wine glasses because you did. It sounds like Regina George, but you
Yes.
started doing
Thank
that, and I was like, oh, I love that. Like such a vibe.
Yes.
I feel like you're so ahead of the game. You came out with Soiree, and sober living just has like blown up so
Yes.
much. It's
Yes.
almost like cooler to be sober now than it is to drink.
It is. It is. And I do think it's cooler to be sober. And it's so true. It's like if people knew what alcohol did to your brain years ago, I mean, they call it detox for a reason.
Hmm.
It's not healthy for you. And I always want to feel present in the moment, remember what happened. I don't like to have a headache. I suffer from migraines as it is. Um, so I do feel like I just want to feel good. I always say, with Soiree, you could, party like a rock star, wake up like a superstar. And I think that it's important, but you don't want to drink something that's like, you want to be able to have a few of them and feel good, not be too sugary. And I think that's what was important to me because I like everything to feel like a party and an experience. That's why I always put iced coffee in a wine glass. I want my mocktail to feel like an experience. I want everything to feel like an event and special.
Yes, I agree. Ditto so much. Okay, but wait, it's important to mention that it can be used as a mixer, which is how I use it.
Yes, yes. My husband puts gin in the cool breeze flavor that you're drinking. And yeah, it's very important. But also there's no adaptogens in it. A lot of mocktails came out that have, CBD in it or, ashwagandha or something in it that you can't use as a mixer. And also that is mind mellowing and ours is not.
Yes, yes. It's a nice, clean option for you, for sure. How do you set yourself apart from the competition being in such a saturated market?
I think that's exactly what it is. It's that ours is a clean version. It's low in sugar. There's nothing mind mellowing in it. We're not a faux alcohol. We're not trying to pretend to be an alcohol. We're just trying to be an alternate to alcohol, like an experience, feel good, something elevated. And I think that's what separates us. That we are not trying to be, a me too. Oh, this is, we're not trying to be a faux alcohol. We're not a frosé. We're not something else like that to taste like alcohol. We don't want to tempt somebody to drink alcohol.
Right.
We just want something that people could party together. Not what are you drinking? What's in your glass? You know what I mean? Type of thing. It's just like we want everybody to feel good.
What's your favorite flavor?
My favorite flavor actually is the cool breeze, which you're drinking.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
Flower.
Me with
Margarita, the one behind me, Margarita is a great seller. People love that one. And so it's doing well. And we're gonna add a coffee flavor, which is coffee with bitter orange, cardamom, a little cocoa in it. So it's gonna be really more like an Italian coffee spritz type of thing. So it's going to be great.
I love that. When is that coming out?
That's going to come out. We're doing our next run. So they'll be out before, like Memorial Day-ish with a new run of all the soiree.
Amazing and perfect timing. I love that
Yes.
so much. So before we go, I do want to play a game because I know that you love
Yes.
games and I love games
I love
too.
a game. I love a game.
Yes. Have you ever played Never Have I Ever?
I have. I have.
Okay, so I have a list of things that Housewives in Jersey and other franchises have done. If you have done the thing, raise your hand. If you have not, keep it down. And for those that aren't watching the visual, we'll also tell you what the answer is. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Never have I ever kicked a housewife out of a party I was hosting. She's done it. She's done it. Who did you kick out? Remind us.
The first season, I kicked out Siggy Flicker.
Yes. What did you kick her out for? Remind us.
Oh, she's like, I don't even want to be here. I was like, then leave, get out.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay, next one. Never have I ever had to break the news to a friend that they were being cheated on.
Have I ever done that? No, I haven't done that.
What would you do, though, if you found out that a friend was being cheated on? How would you handle that?
It depends how close I was with the husband.
Yeah.
Because then I might say to the husband, listen, I know this is going on. So either you have to say something or I'm going to have to. It's very uncomfortable.
That's very good advice. I have always wondered this, and I feel like you're very wise, Margaret. So
yeah,
good.
I think that's what I would have to say. It depends how close I am with the family because, there's a lot of shoot the messenger. So I would have to say is like, hey, this is becoming common knowledge. I don't want to say something. And I think it's really uncomfortable, but everybody's starting to know you have to address this.
Super sage advice. Never have I ever taken a dip in the lady pond.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Isn't that shocking?
I mean,
A
yes
lot of
and
people
no.
think I would have, but I haven't.
I love it. I love it. No, it makes sense. I mean, I would have probably said no for that, but who knows? Who knows now?
No, and I'm
like
very liberal and
sexuality
open,
is the
you know what I
spectrum.
mean? But I think-
Yes, it's just.
And I'm not against it. I could see people doing, but it's just I think I've been married most of my life, and then when I was younger, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't as much of a thing. Yeah,
It wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing.
There's still time. Okay.
I know. Joe will be like, all right.
Yes, he's like, all right, I'm in. I feel like Joe is just that way. He's like, yeah, it's good. Everything's good. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's so good. Okay. Never have I ever pulled someone's hair.
I've never pulled someone's hair. I've got my hair pulled, but I've never pulled someone's hair either.
Yes, unbelievable. And you got your hair pulled, I mean, I know of twice when you were a little
My
girl.
neck broken, even though it was my weave, yeah.
Yes, and when you were a little girl, didn't a nun pull your hair?
And a nun pulled my hair too, my pigtails.
Oh my gosh, your poor neck has to be so resilient.
Terrible.
Ugh. Never have I ever attended a posh fashion show.
I've never attended a mosh pit.
Do they still happen?
I think Kim I don't know if she still does it.
I don't know. It's a good question, though.
I know. Is that crazy? I really haven't done a lot.
Right? No, you've done a lot, just none of these things.
I've done a lot, just not these things.
Yes. Okay. Never have I ever intentionally wanted to break the fourth wall while filming.
Never have I ever intentionally.
So like a bravo, bravo, fucking bravo moment.
Oh, no, I have wanted to endlessly.
Yeah. When was like
I haven't.
the biggest time
I
you can
have.
remember?
I've broken the fourth wall a lot.
When?
Oh, I mean, it's not that they show it. I always say shit.
Yeah. I love that. Do you just like look right in the camera and you're like,
Oh, yeah,
hi,
all
I
the time.
see you.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like fucking roll tape. I'm like, are you crazy? Yeah,
I love that. That is a hot take. Okay. Never have I ever been arrested.
No, I've never been arrested.
It's very original in Housewives world, truly.
I know.
And the last one, never have I ever gone skinny dipping.
Oh, I've gone skinny dipping.
Yes, we drink to that. That's awesome.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Margaret, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Pam.
I love talking to you again and seeing you. You are like, it's honestly
I
like
love seeing you.
They say don't meet your heroes. Like you are.
I love you.
I
You're
love
so
you in
great.
every way, and it's
I
so
need to come
true.
hard and be together, but please come with me here.
Oh, I would love to. I was just on a trip with a bunch of Jersey girls. Shout out to them because I know they're listening, and I loved it. I was like, oh, I'll move to Jersey.
Okay, where'd you go? Where'd you guys go?
We went to Austin, but they're all from North Caldwell. So
oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice. Austin, that was a good trip.
Yes,
I love girls'
so
trips. Girls' trips is my favorite thing in the whole universe.
So good. And we had soiree because we were on the boat and like you can't drink 24/7 when you're 40 years old. Of course.
Good. I love it.
Thank you so much. Where can people find you on social media? Where can they get soiree?
Okay, go to drinksoiree.com. Right now it's sold out for a few weeks, but you can go there and it'll tell you local stores as well. You can find me the Real Margaret Josephs on Instagram, and that really has every place where you could find me.
Awesome. Well, thank you again.
Thank you so much. Great seeing you.
Thank you so much. And thanks you all for listening. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Shut Up, Tell Me More. You can find us on Instagram at Shut Up, Tell Me More. Remember to subscribe to the podcast. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, go to the show page and click the follow plus sign. If you listen on Spotify, click the follow button. You can also find us on YouTube. You'll automatically receive new episodes as they come out, as well as updates. Doing this also helps me algorithm land, so thanks in advance. Lastly, give me a 5-star review, and I'll be so grateful. See you in the next one.